Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is right now where you guys are. I hope it's good. It is just before noon here in Alaska, and it's freaking cold. I woke up this morning, it was 32 degrees below zero, and it's still 30 below. I don't want to go outside. I had things that I was gonna do, and now I'm not doing any of it. Michael, thanks for coming in, dude. Appreciate it. Just getting started here. I'm worried, and I'm, I'm not worried about the team necessarily. I'm only really worried about one person, and we're going to get into it. Going to preview the game. Going to talk about some of the other games going on in the league this weekend. It's going to be an interesting weekend for us, not just for our game, but if we do manage to pull out the win, there's some other games where we should be watching intently as well. That's the concern. I guess we can just kind of talk about it a little bit right now. I mean, it's not something that everybody else is clueless about, right? I mean, as Dolphins fans, we all seem to be on the same page right now. Whether you like Tua, hate Tua, think he's trash, think he's the best player in the world, we can all agree that right now, right this minute, we are having Tua is having a regression. Tua is having a hard time right now. That's where we're at. We have a bot in our comments in our midst. This literally has nothing to do with anything. So let's go ahead and remove that. Bam. So I think right now the issue is mainly Tua. That's where my concern comes from. And this game's got some interesting stats behind it. The Jets are 0-7 against Tua when he starts these games, when he plays. And the Miami Dolphins, with Tua at the helm, Tua is 0-7 in games that are colder than 46 degrees. One of these stats is going to continue. I mean, it's just that's the way it is. One team is going to win, one team's going to lose. So this isn't going to stay. Both these stats are going to, one of them is going to be broken. And with the way Tua is playing, that's the concern that I have. And whatever the reasoning is, right? We've talked a lot about what we think the reasoning is, and yes, I think that the main problem is the hip. And there's a couple YouTubers who've been talking about this for a year. I know for a fact that I've been, obviously, if you've watched my channel, I've been talking about this hip issue since he re-injured the hip or got the new hip injury against the Texans last year. And that's really when this all started. When he came back from that, his hip, he did not look the same. The ball wasn't being thrown the same. He wasn't as mobile. Now, granted, Tua was never this super mobile quarterback in the first place, right? That's just not the kind of quarterback that he is. And to expect him to be that is kind of crazy because, I mean, you don't have to be the most mobile quarterback in the world to have a successful career, right? I think the hip is the issue, and there's a lot of evidence to back it up. The other YouTuber that I can think of off the top of my head immediately that's constantly been talking about he thinks that it's the hip is also Dudley Do-Wrong. Whether you like him or hate him, I think he's right about this, and I've been saying the exact same thing for a long time. And Michael, I agree to a point with that. I wish we could. And if they would have listened, I mean, right. Like they're going to listen to little old me or listen to Dudley when we said, for sure that we should not be signing him to this contract. We should be letting him play on his fifth year, back when they gave him the contract. And now here we sit at this impasse because if we move on from Tua right now, it's going to hurt us bad. And so while I wish we could, I know that we can't move on from him right now. And being a realist, he's likely going to be the quarterback next year, barring something crazy happening, which I wouldn't necessarily disagree with. If they can find a way to let Tua go to another team or something, and not have it absolutely kill us financially for 2 years, I would be more than happy to see that happen. And it's not any slight against Tua or hate, like you see a lot of people with just the completely unadulterated hate for no reason. Um, I like Tua as a person. I like him. I think he's an okay quarterback. I just don't think he's going to get us where we need to go, right? Um, and right now with the contract, it sucks because there's not much we can do about it, at least right now. But in the meantime, you would think that he could find a way to play better. And that's the big concern of mine is whoever we have on this team, I'm going to root for, right? So if Tua is the starting quarterback for the team, while I wish we would do something different or could, I'm going to root for him just because he's the quarterback. And I want our team to succeed no matter what. That's the bottom line. So whoever's playing for us, I want them to succeed. So we can talk a little bit about what Tua can do to get past this, right? And we're going to get into all of that. I got a lot to talk about here. In case you guys haven't noticed, if you look behind me on the little TV screen there, I got a classic going on right now that I'm kind of keep noticing that I'm looking through my screen at that screen. This is the Dolphins-Patriots game where the Dolphins unleashed the Wildcat for the first time. And man, that was a fun game to watch because none of us saw it coming, right? It was a total surprise. And so I got that playing in the background right now. Hopefully I don't get struck by the NFL for having that on. I think the screen's small enough in the picture that it won't get hit, but you never know. The NFL has begun really, really becoming Nazis about their content. It's unreal. It's making it very difficult for content creators to cover their team, and that's not just the Dolphins; it's all NFL teams, right? So we've got this game coming. The Miami Dolphins have won 4 of 5, and they've won their last 3. Ever since Chris Greer was let go, the Miami Dolphins have been making a little push, and you've seen a little bit of improvement. Now, I can't directly relate and say, oh, well, Chris Greer's gone. Of course, they're going to play better. But what I will say is this has definitely given a little bit of an eye-opener to the team in that no one's safe. And you know that, like Chip Kelly comes in, or Champ Kelly, I'm sorry, I keep saying Chip. Champ Kelly comes in as the interim general manager, and for some reason in my brain, I keep thinking that he was an NFL player, and he's not. He didn't play in the NFL, and someone corrected me the other day when I spewed it out. For some reason in my brain, I keep thinking that he played in the NFL, but he technically didn't. He's been involved with a lot of NFL teams, obviously, but he played in the Arena Football League, not the NFL. So while it is a form of professional football, it is not the NFL. So I just wanted to clarify that. But Champ Kelly comes in, and he's telling these players, he's like, look, I'm not in a different boat than you guys. I'm an interim GM. And I'm sure he would want this job, right? And he's like, he's probably saying, look, I'm an interim GM. We're all fighting for our jobs here, not just you guys. I want this job too. So they're all fighting for their jobs, and this has kind of been an eye opener, I think, for the team itself, in that they're realizing that look, we're really close to having to blow this whole thing up, and we got to start winning some games. We got to start getting this right, and I think that's the kind of the change that has happened. Players are taking things a little more seriously, and I think it's a good thing for the team as a whole, right? Is he's holding McDaniel's play calling back? I think so. And like you've heard the frustration, right? We've heard the frustration, even from Mike McDaniel in press conferences where, they're asking him, about Tua and stuff, and he's saying things like, "Well, we just need him not to throw 10 interceptions a game. We just need to keep from throwing the ball to the other team." And McDaniel's right, and when you have limitations, like every quarterback has limitations. So I'm not saying Tua has limitations and no other quarterback does. That's preposterous, and I'm an even keel type of commenter here. I'm not going to say things that are completely wild, but Tua has limitations, and he has a lot more this year than he has in the past, and I think that's because of the hip. Look, if you think about throwing a football, I mean, everybody knows most of the strength and most of the power comes from your lower body and rotation in your hips, right? You rotate off your hip when you throw a football. At least you're supposed to. And I think right now Tua is suffering a little bit because he can't do as much of that. And as somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of upper body strength as it is, he really relied. And go back and watch some of his games from 2023 and 2022. Go watch the change just in the passing alone. Watch how he's throwing the ball. Watch his lower body. It's different this year. And I think that's affecting him. Also mobility and all of that too. You can't really move as well when you're having hip issues. And the issue that he has with his hips, I mean, it can cause a lot of bad things later down the road. He very well might have had successful hip surgery, like they'd say he did. But if anybody's had any kind of serious injury and they've had surgery to repair it, there's something that comes along with that a lot of people don't think about. Like, I don't know how many of you guys know. I don't know if I've mentioned it actually. I used to do motocross a long time. I used to be a lot smaller outside when I got out of college. I did some motocross. You can really hurt yourself and it messes up that body part for the future, even if you've got it repaired. I collapsed my bottom 4 discs, exploded them. And even though my back has been repaired, I have a lot of arthritis in my back now. I have degenerative disc disease in my body because of that. So, and with a hip injury, something like the injury that Tua got, arthritis is something that's very real and is almost guaranteed to present itself a few years down the road after a surgery like that. A high trauma injury, right? And I think that's what's going on with Tua. He's got some arthritis that he's fighting through with this, and I don't know if it's going to get better. And this is just an opinion at all in the beginning of this, right? It's not like I'm saying this is exactly what's going on. It's just what I think. And in no way is it an excuse. I wish that the Dolphins brass would have paid a little more attention to this before they threw this contract to Tua. And because now we're going to be suffering a little bit, right? But we've got this game. And regardless of the Tua thing, this is what we got. We've got Tua starting in a game that's going to be around 42 degrees at kickoff. It's going to be chilly. It's not going to be ice cold, right? So this isn't to the point where, like the playoff game against the Chiefs a couple years ago, this isn't going to be like that, but it's going to be cold, especially for a team that's used to playing in Miami. And that's the disadvantage that the Dolphins have in the AFC East. And largely why I'm still, to this day, I wonder why on earth we are in a division where we play nothing but far north teams. It's the strangest thing in the world. Dolphins, Jets, Bills, Patriots. All 3 of those teams are in cold weather areas. All 3 of those teams are exterior outside stadiums. And then you have the Dolphins. This seems kind of like a disadvantage right out of the gate. So I just kicked my trash can. Dang, man, I hate when I do that. So it's a little bit of a disadvantage, right? You got a team that's not used to playing in the cold and 3 teams that are. So as of right now, the way things sit, the Miami Dolphins sit at a 54.5% chance to win this game. The Jets are at 45.2, give or take 0.3. That's according to ESPN analytics. And the strange thing about this, I always kind of laugh at analytics, but if you look at the ESPN analytics for who's going to win each game, and you look at how the record that has come out from it, I don't have the exact numbers, so don't get me lying to you, but they are right a significant amount of the time. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm hoping they're right in this situation, that Miami has a bigger chance to win this game. Right now, the Dolphins are giving 2.5 points, it says, to the Jets in this game. I don't know if that's going to matter. It doesn't matter really, except unless you're betting against the over-under and the spread. The over-under is 41.5 points combined between the 2 teams. We'll see how that stacks up at the end of the game. What's up, brother? Thanks for coming in, man. Good to see you in here. Thanks for commenting. Those of you that are in here stealth watching, make sure you guys throw a like down at least and help me out here, get some more people in here. Fluctuating between 7 and 10 people right now. Let's get those numbers up. So obviously Justin Fields is not going to be playing. He's out for this game. It's going to be Tyrod Taylor, and honestly, I would rather us face Justin Fields in this game as opposed to Tyrod Taylor. But we're going to be facing Tyrod. Tyrod is a mobile quarterback also. He has the ability to create with his legs. I don't foresee a lot of that happening in this game, especially because of how well the Dolphins defense has been playing as of late. I would like to see that trend continue, but ultimately we'll see how it goes here. Let me pull up these injury reports. As of right now, the Miami Dolphins are looking very good in our injury report. Okay. Right now, Elijah Campbell is probably going to end up missing this game. He's the only player that's probably going to miss. Right now, he's listed as questionable, but he didn't participate in practice all week. I would foresee him missing this game, which is it's not the end of the world. Our safety room has been playing relatively well. Iffy is questionable, but he's had a full participation in practice. He's going to be playing. Aaron Brewer is questionable, but he's going to be playing. Benito Jones, same thing, full participation. He's going to be playing. Austin Jackson is full participation. He'll be in. Darren Waller, full participation in last practice. He'll be in. He was just being rested a practice this week, which I like. Alec Ingold, full participation. He'll be playing. He's been having that neck issue. It looked like it was a stinger last week that he got, but he's fine. He's going to be playing. Rasul Douglas is doing well. He'll be a full participant. When you get to the Jets, this is where the Jets have got a lot of players out, and we know the deal with the Jets, right? And if you don't, it's simple. Linebackers and cornerbacks are horrible for the Jets. That's their weakness on defense. Linebackers and cornerbacks. And if you look at their injury report, it's rough. Kat, what's up, brother? Thanks for coming in, man. So, Marcelino McCrary Ball, the linebacker for the Jets, he is going to be out in this game. He's got a hamstring injury. Jarvis Brownlee, the cornerback, is going to be out. That's going to hurt them a lot. He was a very small bright spot on that cornerback room for the Jets, and he's definitely not going to be playing. Both listed as out. Justin Fields obviously listed as out. Cam Jones, other linebacker, is listed as doubtful. I don't think he's going to play in this game. If he does, he's going to be severely hindered. He could end up playing. It's listed as doubtful, but he was a participant in practice, so we'll see. Quantez Stiggers, another cornerback, he's questionable. He's got a concussion. He did participate in practice this week at the end of the week, so he very well could be in this game. But once again, that cornerback room for the Jets has been struggling bad. So the question of whether they play or whether they don't is kind of neither here nor there. They've been having a hard time, man. Will McDonald, the defensive end, he was a full participant, so he should be playing. I would expect him to be a little slow off the ball just because of his ankle injury. Ankle injuries are kind of not really good for defensive tackles. Harrison Phillips, he was on rest all week, but he was a full participant the last day of practice. Look for him to play. Jermaine Johnson, another ankle injury, is a linebacker. He'll be playing. A lot of injuries for the Jets right now, and as a strange stroke of luck, the Dolphins look pretty good on the injury report, which is weird. and I mean, obviously, Garrett Wilson is on our injured reserve too, so he's out. The Jets are low on weapons. Now, of course, they do have Breece Hall in there, and Breece Hall is a threat in the pass game and in the run game for the Jets. They do well at using him for a lot of things. He has not had an overabundant year of carries and yards and touchdowns. Breece Hall has 3 touchdowns, 187 carries for 834 yards. So he's not having a horrible year. He is on pace to hit 1,000 yards for the season. I'd say probably 1,100 or 1,200 yards for Breece by the end of the year. But, I mean, we'll see. Last time the Dolphins held him to a respectable 70 yards or so. And we'll see what happens with this game. There's a couple things that you need to notice about this game. Is number one, the Dolphins defense as a whole is playing a lot better than we did last time we played the Jets. It's a different defense that the Jets will be facing this week. So hopefully the Dolphins defense continues to play that well. And doesn't it figure, Kat? Doesn't it figure that we're actually relatively healthy, aside from the guys that are out for the season, which, sucks. Our two of our starting cornerbacks, our heavy rotational cornerbacks, are out. Tyreek Hill is out. We got a lot of injuries, but we've had some players come in and fill those gaps, and then our rookies are beginning to play very well. So it's interesting that we're having these things happen, and it just seems like it happened a couple weeks too early or too late. Really, I mean, if you're really wanting to try to make the playoffs and do something in the season, it seems like we just kind of started rolling a little bit late. So all we can do is hope for continued development with these players and hope that we can stack some more wins together, right? And just taking a week at a time. The schedule is getting rougher and rougher as we go, and those last 3 games of the season are going to be tough. But right now, we're facing the Jets. We're in New Jersey, in the cold, not the freezing cold, but in the cold. And this is where the Dolphins need to step up a little bit, right? These last 2 games the Dolphins have played have been very tight, very close games. And this game needs to be a little different. That's kind of and that's what we're going to get to here. You're right, Michael. This is exactly this comment. Everybody look at this comment right here. Because I guarantee you, within the first 2 possessions of this game, this is something that everyone's going to notice. The box is going to be loaded. And this is that game where there's been a couple people talking about Tua needs to have a good game. This is the opportunity. This is the game. Devon Achane has been absolutely destroying people, and you can bet that the Jets are going to stack the box full of people. It's going to be tight in there, right? And because of that, Tua stands a chance here to have a good game. Now, can he make the throws? I'm not going to venture a guess. Right now, I'm really worried about his delivery and his ability to plant and get rotation on that hip and throw a ball. But he does have a chance here to have himself a good game. He's going up against a pretty weak cornerback room for the Jets and a depleted safety room. The defensive backs for the Jets are looking rough right now. And I would expect them to stack the box just because of the way the Dolphins have been running the ball. Now, if they do stack the box, the Dolphins still need to run the ball. Oh my goodness, we still need to run it. I don't care if we get 3 yards. We need to get it. Yeah, you see that in the background there, Kat? I don't know if you were in here when I mentioned it. This is the full game of the Wildcat game against the Patriots. We need to keep running the ball, even if that box is stacked. The run game needs to be there. Keep making them think we're going to do it. Even if we don't have a ton of success, even if Devon Achane has a 50-yard game, we still need to keep running the ball. And if we do that, it's going to help Tua. Just the motion of the fake handoff and the play action for Tua will help him get that ball out on time and in openings, and help him throw in the seam. And that's what we need to do right now. Absolutely. It is. That's what I'm saying. We know they're going to stack the box on us, right? We know that's going to happen. But even with that, we still need to run heavy. And I'm not talking like everything is a run play, but it needs to be a solid 65% run selection. It has to be. And Tua just needs to make a few throws here and there when we need him to make a throw. And the best way to do that is with the heavy run scheme and play action. Put players in the seams and have Tua just hit them in stride. Easy throws, intermediate throws, nothing where he's going to throw a... If you notice all the interceptions that Tua has thrown lately, they've been these deep go balls into double coverage. Keep Tua away from the go ball. Just have him throw to the seams and intermediate passes. I'm not talking about passes behind the line of scrimmage, but We need to have those fluid in stride throws from Tua. The best way to do that is to set him up with the play action. That'll give that little bit of separation necessary for him to hit those throws in stride. And that's what we need to see. And watch this game that we're about to play tomorrow. Watch this game and see how right those of us that are saying it needs to be run heavy, a little bit of play action mixed in. Other than that, run. I don't care how many people are in the box. And do you think our offensive line cares how many people are in the box? No, they don't. If we get run plays, our offensive line is happy. They love to run block. Aaron Brewer, he is a beast in the run game. He would love nothing more than a stacked box and run plays, because Aaron Brewer takes on 2 or 3 players every time that we have a run play. If we have a stacked box, that means Aaron doesn't have to run halfway down the field to hit his blocks. He can block, shed, block, shed, block. Right there. All just bam, bam, bam. That's what we need to see. Our offensive line is playing a lot better. I'm not saying they're playing perfect, right? I'm not saying they're the greatest thing on since the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they are playing much better. And we need to continue make with these plays, that the play calls that help them play better, give them confidence. They work really well together in the run game. Cole Strange is another one of my examples of somebody who can run block like crazy, but has a hard time with pass blocking. We need to get him some confidence, get him out there with Aaron Brewer and lay people out. He's a fast lineman, slightly smaller, but very, very fast and able to get up underneath those bigger defensive linemen. We need Cole Strange run blocking and not pass blocking. And that's kind of what our line is made for right now. They have this ability to do very, very good. Oh, yeah, Michael, yeah, you're right. We're going to get to it. Don't worry. Just talking about the offense right now. This is what the offense needs to do. They need to run the ball. Also, you run the ball, and if you can get scores, and maybe not touchdowns every time, I would like that. But even if you don't get touchdowns every time, you need to get scores, significant amount of scores, field goals, whatever. If we can do that, that's going to keep the ball out of the Jets' hands on offense, and that's going to make desperate play calls and selections and decisions from Tyrod Taylor and the Jets coaching staff. If they're not getting the ball much, they're going to have to get desperate, and that's how we win this game. The other thing on defense is what Michael just said, is we have to stop the run. And he's right. We've got to stop the run. We cannot allow Breece Hall to have a good game. Lately, we've done a pretty decent job stopping the run, and we need to see that continue. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Like I said, and I'm of the mindset that I'm never going to give up on a draft pick after 1 year, right? I'm just not going to do it, especially an offensive lineman. Sometimes it takes a little while for the offensive lineman to really make that jump from college to the NFL, and maybe Jonah is that guy. That doesn't mean he's going to be a bad player. I'm not ready to say that yet, especially since the last few weeks, Jonah has been doing a lot better. A lot better. I'm not saying he's playing great or perfect, but he's doing a lot better. And that just needs to continue, right? We need to see more from him, obviously, but it's not the end of the world yet. And we've seen, even with the defensive tackles, our rookies, namely Biggers and Phillips, they have really stepped up these last few games. And I think that rewarding them with more snaps has been great. We saw Chop Robinson have himself a great game last week, and he needs to continue with that as well. A great game results in more snaps the next game. And that's what Anthony Weaver said, and that's a great thing to say. The players are going to hear that. They're going to know, hey, if I play better, I'm going to get more snaps. If I can prove myself to be more valuable in the run defense and pass defense, in pass rushing and on run stopping, then I'm going to get more possessions. And that's what we need to see, right? Chop needs to be more effective in the run game. Kenneth Grant needs to be more effective in the run game. That's what we need to see. So you see players get more snaps because they've been playing better, and bam, you're going to see that drive to do better going up with these players. I think that's what we're seeing, and we just need it to continue. Last time we allowed the best game of the year for Mason Taylor, and I think that we need to contain him. Let's just put it that way, okay? We've got to contain him. We kind of give up a lot of yardage to tight ends as it is, and it needs to stop. This is not the game where we can have that happening. We need to control him. Let me see here. Jordan Brooks still leading the NFL in tackles. The closest player is 8 tackles below him, but he had an extra game so far. That's Jack Campbell from Detroit. So that's going to go up to about 20 at least here in a second. Cap, what's up, man? Thanks for coming in, brother. Those of you guys that are in here, make sure you throw the likes down. Help me out. Comment. Tell me what you guys think about this game. What are your concerns for this game? Tua can be your concern too. Like I said in the very beginning of this today, Tua is a big concern for me in this game. Can he do what he needs to do to help us win this game instead of riding along? That's what we've seen the last couple of weeks, and we really need to see a good game from Tua here. The opportunity will be there. It's just a matter of can he burn the cornerbacks. I missed it. I'm sorry. I wasn't tuned in. I missed it. It has been a crazy couple weeks right now. I haven't been able to even get on here like I usually do on Tuesday nights and do my thing. Right now it's smack dab in the middle. I do I'm an archery competitor, so I do a lot of archery tournaments from now till about beginning of February. Obviously Christmas stuff is going on. My daughter's in a choir, and there's constant practices and things like that. It's just been nuts. It's been nuts. I'm in the middle of my winter activities: archery, bowling. You can't see it, but over here to my right is a big desk, bigger than the one that have all my computer stuff on, and it's only for tying flies because I'm a fly fisherman in the summer. In the winter, I spend all my time tying flies. I've just been busy, and things will slow down here as soon as Christmas is over. But right now, everything's nuts. I haven't had much time to watch my YouTube videos. Usually, it's your channel. It's Dudley Do Wrong, and I usually watch Alan Poupart a lot, just kind of keep up with things. And I watch Ace Per Head, but I haven't been able to watch any of the things that I normally watch, and it sucks. Yep. Exactly. And I know you're talking mainly about Jordan Phillips and Zeke Biggers and even Kenneth Grant. I'm going to start throwing him in there because he's had these little flashes the last few weeks and made some good plays. We're starting to see that. Yeah, man, it's been nice to see, and they need to have a good game. They need to have a strong game this week. Tomorrow is going to be interesting. It's going to tell us a lot. Right. And since all these games carry so much importance for Miami right now, and not just the importance isn't just for trying to make the playoffs. I mean, that's the farthest thing from my mind. The importance of stacking wins right now is confidence and experience building, right? These games carry so much importance to Miami because there is that small infinitesimal chance of making the playoffs if they win out. It puts a stress on these players, and it's going to give them experience in playing these very important games, right? Because they're all so important to Miami. It's going to give these players this experience, and I think that's a good thing. For obviously for a lot of reasons, but mainly for our young players. It's giving them so much experience, and that's what we have to notice and realize, right? We've got to realize that the importance of that and how big that is for these players. Devon Achane is at 1,034 yards for the season. He is number 4 on the list right now in rushing. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs already played his game this week. They played on Thursday, and he's sitting at 1,062. So he's 28 yards above Achane. So by the end of this Sunday, Achane is likely going to be very easily be number 3 in the NFL for rushing. Devon Achane is having an amazing year, and if Devon Achane can push 100 yards in this game, the Dolphins are going to win. The Dolphins are undefeated when Devon Achane gets 20-plus carries, period. So hopefully Mike McDaniel recognizes that trend and can continue to feed Achane the ball. Obviously, I'd love to see Ollie Gordon get some carries, and even the other guys too. But mainly, we need to feed Achane the ball, get him the ball in space, whether that's even if it's more in short passes too. I'd be okay with him getting some short passes. He needs those too. He can make things happen with the ball. You get him a little bit of space, give him the football, and he can turn a negative 4-yard pass where he's likely going to get tackled into an 8 or 9-yard completion. Just on his will and his determination alone. The recipe for winning this game against the Jets is very clear, and it's so clear that the Jets know what the Dolphins are going to do. But this is that game. This is that. Oh man, Michael, I do too. I love Zeke Biggers. I liked him before I even knew that we were going to get him. And if you go back and look at my preseason stuff before the draft, where I was talking about players that I would love to have, I mentioned him. I was like, we need some meat, and I was like, this guy would be perfect. Yeah, do what he said right there. Do that. Do the thing. Let's go. You guys in these, I cannot do all these emojis like you guys do. It's incredible. I don't know how you guys do it. You guys are way better than me. The Jets know what we're going to try to do to win this game. And we have got, knowing that they know, we've still got to do it. We cannot let ourselves try to be sneaky and be like, oh, they think we're going to do this, so let's do this. No, this isn't that game. This is the game where we come out and do exactly what we need to do to win the game, even though they know what we're going to do. You guys know we're going to run the ball. We're still going to run the ball right down your throats. I almost swore. But it needs to be that kind of game. Right down your freaking throats. I don't care that you know we're going to run the ball. We're still going to do it. It's just that simple. Are they going to do it? Are they going to? Is Mike McDaniel going to continue the relative good play calling that he's had? I don't know. Time will tell. Time will tell. Yeah, shout out to the real ones. You guys coming in here. I appreciate you guys. I see a lot of you guys on so many different channels, commenting, liking. You guys are the real heroes of this. Like, you guys supporting all these different channels. And I always say, like, we got to support the smaller channels. And I'm not just saying that for me. I mean, I'm a really small channel, but even the ones that are, up over 1,000 subs, those, you got to help them too. Everybody, we should be watching as much content for Miami as we can, right? And a lot of these younger creators, these smaller, not younger, small, I'm not young. These smaller creators, we got to support them, because a lot of times the information that comes out from these smaller channels, it's much cleaner than what you get from some of the bigger channels. Who? I think he realized a couple weeks ago too is not the guy. Who are we talking about, Kat? Help me out here. Too bad the two guys who will stay above Achane are in the AFC. In the NFC, he'd be a Pro Bowl lock. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying it's out of chances for Achane to make the Pro Bowl. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Dolphins fan, right? There's a pretty good chance he'll make it. Oh yeah, yeah, I think so too. Just because of the way he's been talking, does that mean that I think that McDaniel has given up on Tua? I don't necessarily think that, but I do think that McDaniel's starting to have some doubts, and for good reason. Imagine being a play caller and a head coach and an offensive coordinator all in one, and trying to develop a game plan when you have what's going on with Tua going on, right? And I think that Mike does like Tua a lot, and he feels a responsibility to Tua. But at the same time, I think you're right, Kat. I think that Mike McDaniel is realizing, man, this might not be working out. I'm so limited. I don't know what I can do right now, and that's a struggle. That's a big struggle. But I'm curious to know how everybody else is feeling about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this link in the comments, and if you guys want to hop on and tell me what you guys think about this game, about the Dolphins as a whole, if you want to talk about something related to Miami, feel free to hit the link and jump in. It's like I said, this is that time of year where, and in more so for us, every single game matters. Every single game matters so much. And as long as the Dolphins can continue this win streak, I mean, it is a win streak. It's three games, the last 3 games, and it's 4 out of the last 5. And when you start 2-7, that's a good thing. I know the people that wanted us to lose a bunch are disappointed, but I can't. Like I said, I'm never going to tell somebody how to fan. And if you are rooting for losses, I can see the logic. I just don't personally agree with it, right? I'm not that sold on this draft class. I'm not so excited about our draft class that I'm like, oh, we've got to lose games. There's so many players that we're not going to be able to get that we need in the first 3 picks of the draft. That's just not. I'm not in that boat. Maybe a different draft class, maybe I would feel differently, but the way this draft class is looking, I'm not seeing anything that I desperately want in the first 2 or 3 picks, or 4 picks or whatever. I think Mendoza is going to be the best quarterback in the draft this year. But it's number one, it's too early. And I'm not going to root for losses because we could maybe get this one quarterback. It's putting a lot on it, and it's not a lot of guarantee, right? And that's where I'm at, is like I don't want to take any more. I don't want to take a bunch of more chances. I'm okay with, drafting a quarterback in the draft, and I've said a million times that I think that we should grab a quarterback in every draft at some point. Just not necessarily our best pick out of each draft. You could wait till the 4th, 5th, 6th round to grab a quarterback, especially in this draft. There's just not much out there. Definitely not. And that's what we were talking about, right? I was saying that all of his interceptions lately, the last 3 or 4 games, or five games, have all been deep passes. 4 of them have been go balls. And it's not working. He does not have the hip rotation and the arm strength right now to throw those deep balls, especially into double coverage. And if you want to take it that far, there's maybe one quarterback in the NFL that has the ability to do that properly, that can put enough under the ball and into the pass to get to throw into double coverage deep. There's maybe one, and he's actually playing for a losing football team right now. I'll change that. There's 2. I would say Matt Stafford and Joe Burrow are the only 2 quarterbacks that can do that on the regular. Other than that, I wouldn't trust anybody to make those throws, let alone Tua. Tell me what you guys think. Oh my goodness, guys. 32 below. 32 degrees below zero. This is frigid. There was things I wanted to do. I wanted to go snowboarding this weekend. I'm not going to be able to do that. Cat, I wouldn't even trust Aaron Rodgers to do that. His deep ball is trash this year and last year. I don't know why. He's still got pretty much the same arm he did when he was a little younger. He hasn't lost much strength. But I wouldn't even trust Aaron Rodgers to make some of these throws that Tua's trying to make on the outside. It's such a risky throw. And miss me, everybody, not anybody specifically, but anybody who wants to throw the arm punt logic into this conversation, please don't. If it's just going to be an arm punt, you might as well just give up the extra down. It doesn't make any sense to me. The arm punt logic is stupid. I'm jealous. 83 degrees. Of course, I wouldn't be able to snowboard in that either, but 83 degrees, man. $80, 83 degrees. Man, I cannot. You know what I can't wait for? I have 2 trips this winter that I'm going to be taking. One in January and one in February. Both are to Mexico. I cannot wait. A little bit of warm weather. Oh, it's going to be so nice. My January trip, I'm going to be in Mexico for the last game of the season against the Patriots. Actually, let me double check that. I'm curious about the schedule here now. Let's see. No, I will not. I'll be in Mexico for wild card weekend and maybe the divisional round at the beginning of it. But you know what? That's not a bad idea. Yeah, there's like I said, there's a few good players. We'll see what ends up happening here. And there are some good players, but there's no need to try to lose games, right? That's my point, I guess, is there's not much reason to try to lose games to get into these positions. So yeah, I'll be in Mexico in the middle of January for a week, and then I'm going back to Mexico in the middle of February. Cannot wait. Yeah. Define cold weather, though. How cold? Man. This game is it worries me just because the Jets are playing better too, right? The Jets are playing better football. We have a cat in the hat. What's up, brother?
Yo.
Let me put my headset on. Makes it a little easier to hear you guys.
Yeah, I actually have a running joke for the Jets right now that scares me for this week because the Jets are so bad, right?
Yeah.
They're even bad at tanking.
Yeah, I mean they're not. What are we looking at? Let me see here. I'm curious now. I want to see what we're sitting at for.
Because I mean, if you think about it right now, the Jets' wisest option would be tanking. They have 3 first-round picks going into this year, 3 first-round picks going into next year. They don't have a quarterback. Like they don't really like.
Yeah.
They should be tanking. They should be figuring out how to lose these games and not win like they did last week against the Falcons.
The Jets are sitting at number 7 right now. The Browns, Commanders, Raiders, Saints, Giants, and Titans are all ahead of them in the draft.
And look at it this way too. If they beat us tomorrow, we might as well consider the rest of our games losses, right? That would put us in front of them because they beat the Browns and we lost to the Browns.
Yeah. I wonder how many Dolphins fans are going to be rooting for a loss tomorrow.
I mean, we shouldn't be rooting for a loss tomorrow. Like you were saying earlier, like this isn't a year to be rooting for losses. Like
You're right.
you hit it right on the head when you said that experience and is what we should be rooting for right now. Good games, win or lose, just out there getting experience and getting better for next year. Figuring
Right.
out what pieces are still going to be here, what pieces we can afford to get rid of, etc.
Right. And you know that the Dolphins, the players are looking at these games as must wins. And that's the part that I think is invaluable experience for these younger players, is experience what must win feels like in the NFL. That's huge. Where are the Dolphins? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Dolphins are sitting at the 12th pick right now. Yeah, 12th pick. I don't know. I like I said, and the difference between the 12th pick and the 24th pick, it wouldn't make any difference. It really wouldn't for us. And that's kind of why I'm thinking, man, this is like you. I don't think this is the year for the tank. And I think that we hit on our last draft more than a lot of people think right now.
We like not playing cigarettes. That was kind of boring, bro.
So I like the chances.
Yeah, no, we didn't do bad. Like you said, also like Savanaya, he's coming into it. Like it takes offensive linemen and defensive linemen a little bit longer than other positions to get their feet under them. Like, yeah, you're gonna have your guys that come out and are superstars right off the bat. But I mean, like, look at Abdul Carter. He was a second overall pick this year, and like, what has he done really? Hell,
Right.
he was held out of the whole first quarter Monday night because of his own little antics.
Yeah.
And that's twice so far this year that he was held out of series. And he was second overall pick. You know?
Yep.
So I think we did do good, and I think we do have a bright future ahead of us, especially now that we got rid of Greer. We can move forward. Can we play good, clean football for the rest of the year? Win or lose, that's all we hope for. That's all we need to hope for. Don't get your hopes up for a playoff spot, ladies and gentlemen, but don't be sitting here rooting for us to fight for the bottom spot either.
Finspin says a 12-game win streak Super Bowl run. That'd be a nice lesson learned. I agree. I agree, brother. I think that would be a great lesson.
But Finspin, you know what that would mean? That would mean that we would be stuck with Tua the rest of his career. Next 10 years, we would be stuck with Tua, and that might be the only Super Bowl we get in that run. Are you willing to make that trade?
I don't know. I think that even if, I mean, let's just entertain the thought, right? Okay, so none of us are saying, even Finspin, none of us are saying, Cat in the Hat's not saying it, I'm not. None of us are saying that the Dolphins would make it to the Super Bowl this year. But if that strange, extremely unlikely, less than a 1% chance of that ever happening, if that did happen, I think even with that, I don't think that we would have Tua beyond 2 years from now.
You don't think so? You don't think
No.
you don't think that the Super Bowl win would lock him in?
No, I don't. I don't. I think that the contract would likely be finished up for sure, right? I think that that would mean that we'd have him for 2 more years. But beyond that, I don't see I don't see it. I don't see Tua being with us after anything longer than 2 more years. I honestly I mean, what do you know off the top of your head what we'd lose if we let go of him this offseason? I know
Post June 1st.
Yeah, I know it's
It's like
significant.
23 million or something. It's up there.
Yeah, and that would hit the dead cap directly, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and if we did it before then, it would be like 50, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be a lot more. We save like 30 million by waiting till the post June 1st.
Right. And realistically, and I'm not saying this is what I want to happen, but I honestly could see Tua playing next year for us, legitimately. I'm not saying he's going to play good, but I could see Tua being with us next year as well. But
I
beyond
don't.
that, I don't see it happening.
I was talking with Cap about this. And he wasn't for it, but I'm all for this. So hear me out with Kyler Murray, because the contracts are very similar, right?
Right.
Arizona's done with Kyler Murray. Most of Miami Dolphins are done with Tua Tagovailoa. A change of scenery here, player for player, I feel like would benefit both teams. For one, because Arizona plays in a dome, so that would put Tua in a dome playing. Kyler Murray, like if you look at our offense and the way that Mike McDaniel is turning into this run-heavy offense that you were talking about, we don't need a quarterback with a great arm, right? We just need a quarterback that has the threat of the run. And Kyler Murray has that over Tua Tagovailoa. So if we can add a quarterback that has the threat of a run into our system, our run game can be much better, even better than it is right now. Now, by making that trade, like we would probably still have to cover some of Tua's contract, because I think their difference is like $10 million as far as like money that's owed to each player.
Mm-hmm.
But it would save us $10 million if we were to make that trade, and we would get an upgrading quarterback, and we wouldn't have to cut Tua, and we wouldn't have to eat $23 million in dead cap and not have an answer at quarterback, and we wouldn't have to keep Tua on the team. I think it's something that they should look into. That's just my opinion.
It's definitely something to look into. Crazy, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going, Frozen fan? Cat in the Hat is always good to see you, my brother.
What's up, Mr. Paul?
Yeah, now, Cat, the thing that you were just mentioning is actually a trade. In other words, Tua for Maury, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the. Tell you the truth, that's not a. That sounds like a nice deal there.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
In my opinion, I feel like it's a trade that would benefit all parties involved. It would give Kyler Murray and Tua both a change of scenery, and I feel like it would probably make both teams better, because Kyler Murray's skill sets aren't working over there. They need more of a guy like Jacoby Brissett, which is kind of like Tua. Can't really get out of the pocket too well, has a decent arm downfield when like the opportunity presents itself. Playing in a dome, doesn't have to worry about cold weather, all the above. And then Kyler Murray, I mean, I don't know if he's going to be better for us, but like I said, I feel like a quarterback that just poses the threat of a run makes our offense 10 times better.
Yeah. Especially with A-Chain, playing the way he's playing. And then also, too, we still have Waddle. We still have, what's that, Malik Washington.
Yep.
And what have you. So, man, yeah, that sounds like a nice, that sounds like something that can work out. Actually.
Yeah. And Mr. Paul, this is the first time I think you've been on my stream as a guest. I want to say thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate it. I see you all over so many different channels, and I just want to say thanks for coming in.
Well, my thing is this, Rose. I'm gonna say this real quick. When I was a kid, I was kind of as a Miami Dolphins. I suffered a great deal, because the only way I can learn about our team was to pick up the newspaper and go to the sports section and see a little column talking about the Miami Dolphins, or watch the news and wait until they get to sports to learn about the Miami Dolphins. So when I got onto YouTube and seen all the podcasts, and I said, this is all good. I'm going to go and learn and support all the podcasts, and at the same time trying to how should I say, to get more familiar with the NFL and with the Miami Dolphins, because of my past work. I used to work in night shift and a graveyard shift. I missed out on a lot of football in the Miami Dolphins. So now that I'm retired, I'm trying to catch up. So,
I feel you on that. Mr. Polk. I used to work in the food industry, bro. I never got holidays or weekends off, man. I'd be sitting there working on the line, working in the kitchen on the line with my phone sideways with the game on.
Mm-hmm. There you go. You know what I'm talking about.
And FinSpin, I think the point that Cat's making is it doesn't necessarily have to be Kyler Murray. It's just something that he was thinking about. And like I said, I kind of have some issues with Kyler Murray as well. But the point that he made, the all-encompassing point, was that the kind of quarterback that we're looking for, or that might benefit us right now, it doesn't seem like the skill set that Tua has is what would benefit us. And I think that's kind of how I'm looking at this, is a quarterback with a little more mobility, and definitely a little more zip on the ball would benefit us hugely right now. And that's kind of what I'm looking at it as.
And also too, like we've seen this in other players around the league. I mean, look at AJ Brown throwing a tantrum because he's not getting the ball. You know what I mean? This is why I'm saying, like, a change of scenery could be good for all parties involved. Yeah, like, yes,
Right.
Kyler Murray seems like a crybaby now, but maybe that's because the organization he's in is crap and not like helping him succeed. Maybe if he goes to an organization where they could win without him being the superstar,
Yeah.
he might not be the same. But again, it doesn't necessarily need to be Kyler Murray. Like you said, it doesn't. We just need somebody with the option of the run.
And
But
so, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But looking around the league, I don't see like who else would be available that would fit that mold.
Right now, there's nobody, and that's kind of,
Nobody.
and that's where I'm thinking right now. Realistically, if I look at what's not necessarily what I want to happen, but what I see happening, is I see Mike McDaniel coaching next year. Number one, I see, assuming that we win 3 out of our next 4. Okay, I see Mike McDaniel coaching next year, and I see Tua being back next year to start the season. I'm hoping that if Tua does come back, I hope that he can get a little bit of treatment or something with this hip and return to a little bit more of what we saw in the past from Tua, because whether we love him or hate him right now, I would be ecstatic to have 2023 Tua right now. I mean, that's.
I feel you, but I don't think that's going to be the case. In my personal opinion, I feel like he's going to be even worse next year than he is this year. Because if we're watching, the regression is happening. The regression is real with Tua Tagovailoa, and it seems like it's starting to happen at an exponential rate. Like week to week, it's getting worse and worse and worse. So imagine if it keeps going in that pattern, what is it going to look like next year? He's going to be losing his job to our 9th round rookie quarterback in the offseason. You know what I mean? But he's still going to start because we're paying him $50 million. That's why we just need to figure out a way to come off of him without eating too much dead cap, because we can't afford it. Like, we're not in a position that the Broncos were in when they got rid of Russell Wilson. We don't have a bunch of rookie contract deals. Like, we're paying a bunch of people that aren't even on the team anymore. It's like we can't just eat a $23 million cap hit and it not ruin the season.
Right. No, I don't disagree with you. Like I said, this is just what I see happening, not what I want, or definitely not what I want to happen. But
that's what I think too. I think Tua will be here next year too, unless we figure out a way to trade him. Like, I think he's going to be here. I think McDaniel's going to be here whether we win 3 more or not. That's just my opinion. I think he's proved enough to Stephen Ross for Stephen Ross to allow him 1 more year.
Yeah.
Unless next year starts out 0-5, and then he probably gets dropped.
Yeah, and Stephen Ross hates hiring processes, right? He hates it with a passion. He's even said it, multiple times. And so what I see right now is since we're going to be interviewing and looking for a new general manager, and of course Champ Kelly is going to be part of that interview process, I see Stephen Ross is not going to want to do a head coaching search right now too. I don't see that happening. I think he's going to focus on general manager, and I think that's probably where I would like his focus to remain. But I also am hearing rumors of Champ Kelly and Brandon Shore finding ways to offload some of this dead cap, and that's working out trades and things like that, like you were referring to, Kat. So I think there's a chance here where we might be able to work some of this stuff out. Finspin says I'd rather have a QB that's a monster to bring down, like trying to sack Josh Allen, than a QB that runs and takes all those extra hits and leaves us in that injury pickle again. But that stays with the mobility thing, right? Josh Allen is extremely mobile, so I think mobility is something that we should definitely be looking for in this new NFL that we've seen. This mobility has become very important for a quarterback, and in years past, it wasn't quite that important. What do you think, Mr. Paul?
And see, that's where Tua does not have that at all. And Cat was right, because with the last game we played with the Saints, I seen a Tua that really scared me, because it's like just like Cat said, it's like he regressed a great deal. And I'm not no doctor, but when you sustain a hip injury like he did, and some of the former players like Mike Ponce did, it's kind of hard to recover from the hip injury, even with the technology that we have today. And I think that's playing an important role in why we're seeing his regression. And I'm gonna say something else with Mike McDaniels. I actually think that McDaniels really wants to move off a tour and try to develop or try to see what he has with Zach Wilson. Now, when I mention Zach Wilson and Kieran Ewers, I'm not saying that these guys going to be successful, but I think he really deep down inside, he really wants to see what he has with with Zach Wilson and Kieran Ewers, because those are two quarterbacks, a veteran quarterback and a rookie quarterback that I think Mike handpicked himself. And I think deep down inside, he wants to see if he can do something with them, but he can't, because, like I said, we made that decision and we're sort of kind of stuck with Tua. So I think deep down inside, Mike is also slowly trying to maybe bring in some players that can how should I put it? Some players on the offensive side of the ball that can help out a quarterback a veteran quarterback that we may get next year or a year afterwards, or a quarterback out the draft. But the question is Mike gonna be here that long? I just don't know.
Yeah, I think that there's an importance to consistency, right? And I think that, like I said, I'm not entirely sold on Mike McDaniel. I've kind of been back and forth with Mike McDaniel all year, and I would like to see him continue to improve, right? I feel like the last few games he's done a lot better with play selection and stuff, and he's been a little more intense on the sideline, and I like seeing that from him. Getting on players and getting on other coaches when they're doing things wrong. I think that he's learning to be a head coach. It's just like any other thing in the NFL. You have to kind of grow into those positions. And seeing the jump that he made from run game coordinator to head coach, I mean, you had to expect a little bit of struggles, right?
Yeah,
it's hard.
Yeah,
I mean, I coaching. I mean, I got a lot of playing experience all the way up through college, but the coaching experience is something that was even harder to me. And I've only assistant coached up to high school, and it's a much different monster. So I can understand the growth, the need for growth there. So I'm trying to be understanding of Mike McDaniel, and at the same time, it's the NFL. You guys are getting paid to do this. You got to figure it out quick. There's 15 other guys right behind you waiting to have their chance. So
And he is doing that, in my opinion. It's like you can literally go back and watch the breaking point when Mike McDaniel, like, to me it seemed like the breaking point where Mike McDaniel finally gave up on Tua, because like you said, for the last 3 weeks we've been going run heavy. You go 4 weeks ago when Tua threw that interception, and you see Mike McDaniel on the sideline on his hands and knees banging the ground
Yeah,
with his
yeah,
playbook in his hand and looking like he's got tears rolling down his face. It was that moment right there where it hit Mike McDaniel, like, this dude is going to get me fired. I got to keep the ball out of his hands. I cannot put the game on the line in his hands. I
yeah,
can't put the
and
ball in his hands when the game is on the line. And that's why we've been going run heavy. And like, you haven't seen a lot of those super big passes anymore. It's been more of the short intermediate throws that you were talking about, right? And that's what we got to do to beat the Jets. And that's what we got to do. And that's what Mike McDaniel realized, like, okay, if I keep going back to the dink and dunk style of 2023, yes, we don't have the big plays. Like, we're not going to have the big plays as options, but instead of having the big plays as options, it's the run. It's the run, and we sprinkle in some dink and dunk plays. And then that way we don't have to worry about Tua throwing an interception and losing the game for us.
yeah, and Michael Lombardo says McDaniel will be a better coach without Tua, and Finn's been added into that. He's a better coach without Tyreek too. He broke out of that shiny toy box when he went down. And these are two comments that I agree with both of these.
same here. And
Um,
then,
yep. Go
I
ahead.
mean,
and then
when Tyreek, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah.
no, I just want to say this real quick. If you think about what Mike McDaniel said last season when the season was over, one of the first things he said he wanted to do was to go into the draft and get him a running back. He said that. And at first I didn't take it seriously until we drafted Ollie Gordon. And then, like I said, that kind of sending a signal to me, because it was also a game last season where Mike McDaniel was on his knees and he was upset because through an interception. But um, to me, that was a signal that, okay, this season coming up, I'm gonna start, like I said, getting more towards the run game, just like you just said, Cat. And also too, you know, I'm even though we're running A Chain and Ollie Gordon, let's also sprinkle a little bit of Jalen Wright in there too, because one thing people don't realize about Jalen Wright, okay, um, A Chain runs a 4.32 in the 40. Okay, Jalen Wright runs a 4.38 in the 40. So he's a very fast guy as well, but he's not as shifty and nifty as A Chain. But we need to put him in it as well. Rotate those three guys around. And my concern is too, and I know that like I said, I'm high on A Chain myself, but my concern is that if we're going to keep A Chain for the future, we got to kind of well, I hope I don't sound soft by saying, but we got to kind of do more rotations where we're not wearing him down or putting him in a position to get hurt.
Yeah.
No, actually, Mr. Polk, you're nailing it on the head. All right. So let's go back to the Buffalo game, for example, right? That was our best performance on the ground, was against Buffalo in week 8, right? So let's go and we look at the stats from that game. You had Devon A-Chain with 18 rushes. You had Ollie Gordon with 9 rushes. You had Jalen Wright with 9 rushes. Every one of them had close to 50 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns on the ground. And we dominated against the Buffalo Bills using that exact method you're talking about. He's got to use all 3 of our running backs. It's not a committee running back over here if we want to be successful or if we want to go fight for playoffs and Super Bowl contention. Like we should be running a 6-man line like we've been doing with the offense and running 3 running backs effectively. That way it keeps the defense guessing. Like, they don't know, like, oh, they're bringing in Jalen Wright, it's going to be a pass play. Oh, wrong. Run up the middle for 6 yards. First down, moving the chains.
The play selection in that Buffalo game was 32 rushes to 21 passes. And that's exactly what I was saying. So I got something stuck in my throat, guys. Carry it away for.
Say, humbug.
Yeah, but like I said, um, you know, and then also too, when we're in games that we are winning at a certain point in the fourth quarter, please take out some of our first string players as well.
You said when we're losing games in the fourth quarter?
No, if
Winning.
we're winning games, if we're winning games, if we're in the position in the fourth quarter where it's not it's not looking good for the opponent, and what have you, let's at some point in the fourth quarter start pulling some of our first strings out.
I mean, yeah, it'd be nice if we actually were ever in a position like that.
Yeah, but I know we haven't been lately. It's been tight games.
Yeah, I think there was one game that we actually was able to kneel out, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep. And well, we technically kneeled out the New Orleans game too.
Oh, and also I definitely got to give a shout out, Greg Dusich.
Yeah.
Let's feed this man some more balls. I mean, I'm not taking nothing away from Waller. Please, let's feed this man some balls.
No,
The last
yeah,
no, go ahead.
yeah, no, I was going to agree with you for sure.
Because what I've seen with this guy here, he has good hands, and also seem like he's also a good blocker. So let's feed him
Yeah.
the ball a little bit more as well.
Yeah, they always talk about him as a pass catching tight end, but you're right, Mr. Paul. Like he can lay down blocks. And like I
Yes.
said, there is something there with Dulcich. I
How old
like
is
his
he?
attitude. If you
Hmm.
guys see him running on the sideline, there's been a couple examples where he's caught a ball, and I don't care if he gets a couple extra yards by avoiding a tackle. The man has turned into people and laid a shoulder into people, and I freaking love it. Like,
Exactly.
he
Nah,
gets me so amped up.
he won me when he caught that one pass and then landed on his head, got right back up like nothing happened.
Yeah. I think they definitely need to keep him involved. And like I said, I
How
do
how
like
old is
Darren
he?
Waller. I think he's like 25, 26 years old.
So he's pretty young.
Okay. Sure.
Got plenty of time.
I don't want to lie to you guys. Let me double check on that real quick, okay? Give me a sec.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
something about him.
yep.
If you unleash, I think he'll be in beast mode, and he'll be a tight end to deal with.
He is 25 years old.
Wow.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Wow.
he's a young guy we can invest in. It's not going to cost us a lot of money. We don't have to go
Exactly.
out in the off season and try and sign another 1 year deal
Mhm.
on a veteran, which we probably still will.
Yeah.
So far, in the very short amount of time he's played with us, he's got 10 catches for 113 yards, 11.3 per catch.
Yeah, that's gold right there. That's like striking gold, man.
Yeah, we hit by grabbing him, and I
Yes.
like him a lot.
Yes. Me too.
I think our tight end room, we thought that was going to be a weak spot, and this year our tight end room is legit. I mean, we know Darren Waller. We know that, and like I said, I was wrong about him. I really thought that was a mistake, but he has proven me wrong, even with his injury. Okay.
Same here.
But Julian Hill and Greg Dulcich both have done nothing but impress me this year.
Yes. Julian Hill is blocking like, oh man.
The man
You
is
talking
like
about
an
some
offensive
blocks.
lineman. He is just
Yes, he
wrecking
is.
people.
The only
And
problem I have with it though is like Mike McDaniel is not using the tight ends like he did last year with Jonnu Smith. Man, he was finding a lot of success using Jonnu Smith at tight end, and like for some reason it's just not there this year. I don't know if
yeah,
I don't know what he changed or what he's doing differently, or maybe it's Tua with the reads and the inability to accurately throw balls as well as he was.
Yeah.
Because Jonnu Smith put up great numbers last year, and that didn't even start until week 8, week 9. Like that wasn't even a full season for Jonnu Smith. That was like half a season. Those numbers that he put up, that was like in half a season.
yeah, yep. I'm looking to see what his contract is right now for Dulcich. I think he's just under contract this year. Blake, what's up, man? Good to see you in here, dude. Thanks for coming. Let's see.
Yeah, Gator Fanatic. Yeah, he said he's under contract past this year. Okay. So, do what are our chances of keeping Waller?
I think that Darren Waller will remain with the team this year. I don't think he is. Darren Waller's only on a 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to re-retire.
Oh, you think so?
If he, I tell you what, if we don't want to give him a contract that he wants, and he does do that, I don't think it's going to hurt us. Just because of Dulcich, but yeah, Dulcich is on a 1 year.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's one tie that I would definitely try to keep him.
He's only making $630,000 too. I'm like, he's making nothing.
Come on,
so,
well, I mean, either way, at the end of the day, honestly, like Dulcich. All right, so Dulcich, I feel would be the way to go, but we should be trying to draft a tight end this year, anyways.
Sure.
Seeing if we can get a good tight end out of the draft. Because if we use Dulcich, so let's say Darren Waller doesn't return. All right, Dulcich now becomes the Darren Waller for next year. He'll probably be under another either 1 year or 2 year contract. It's pretty cheap and favorable for the Dolphins because he hasn't really done anything, right, to demand a high contract or a market contract.
Right.
But if he's our number one tight end next year and he's only on a 1 year or 2 year deal, then he will have the production to then go and demand a higher contract or higher payday. But if we draft a tight end that could be a generational tight end like a Tyler Warren or a Trey McBride, et cetera, then it wouldn't matter. Kind of in my opinion, that's the better move forward because Dulcich, if he turns into our number one, he's going to put up numbers that's going to demand an $8 to $12 million a year contract.
Yeah. Man, if you guys look at I'm on Over the Cap right now. If you guys look at our dead cap situation this year, it is unreal. We're at $72 million in dead cap.
Good grief.
And do you know where almost all of that is?
Tua?
Almost no. In dead cap, all of that is Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard.
Oh yeah, the guys that ain't even here no more.
Yep, that's 30 million of it. Jalen Phillips has 12 million. So those three players, man, that's the end of it though. As this year finally we'll be out from under Xavier Howard. Holy cow.
Good grief, Greer.
That's what's hurting us. Yeah, it's Chris Greer. And that's what I'm saying. This is why I say constantly, and people always freak out about this. It's like, no matter who we have as our general manager coming up, it's going to be better than what we've had. Period. It's going to be.
That brings me to a question. I'm going to ask both of y'all. If we do bring in a new GM from outside, if he wants another quarterback, wouldn't that be a problem? I mean, in other words, sometimes when you bring in a new GM, they bring in their coaches, or they may want a certain player. What if the GM is not on board with Tua?
Well, like I said, you've got to give that whoever the GM is coming in, even if it stays with Champ Kelly, you have to give that person full reign of the team. And if he says, I don't like Tua, then guess what? That's the way it is. If he says, I think we can try one more year with Tua, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trust. I honestly and legitimately gave Chris Greer 4 years before I started saying we need to let Chris Greer go. So whatever we end up with, I'm gonna give that next GM 4 years. Beyond that, I don't feel like you can give anybody 4 years with a team and have no results, and except for more and more dead cap. I don't think you can give a GM any longer than that. They've got to show something in that amount of time.
Right.
What do you think, Kat?
Well, I mean, me personally, I hope it's somebody from outside. I don't technically want anybody that has been trained or influenced under Chris Greer, because then I feel like there's no change. But they also need to have some type of football knowledge. And with that being said, like they would figure out a way to make it work. If they don't want Tua, they'd figure out a way to make it work. Maybe they'd listen to Frozen Fin Fans podcast where we're talking about going and getting Kyler Murray doing player for player trades, something like that. They would work it out. They would figure out how to make it happen. If they do want to roll with Tua, then again, like they'll figure out how to make it work. Like we start 0-5. All right, people are getting fired.
Yep.
Like I don't care who our GM is as long as it's not somebody who's been in building over 5 years. That's my opinion. Like
Right.
I feel like there's also a lot of coaching staff that I feel like needs to get gone because they've been here for over 5 years and we're just seeing regression. Like I don't like Darrell Bevell. There's a lot of people that are high on Darrell Bevell, but like he's been our quarterback coach for how long? And we're seeing our quarterbacks not progress, but regress.
Yeah.
Maybe that has to do with a little bit with the coaching that we got in. I mean, like, I don't like this new Frank Prince guy. Like, I don't feel like he's helping. Like,
The wide receivers. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, come on. He had our wide receivers in the offseason wasting time learning how to juggle, saying that it's going to help them learn how to catch the football.
Oh my goodness.
Here's my one thought about the whole GM thing, and I'm sure you guys probably would agree with me here. I don't think Champ Kelly is. I wouldn't consider Champ Kelly as pre-existing in the Dolphins regime, because I mean he was only brought in last year, and I really, truly, and honestly feel like he was brought in as in case we have to pull the handle on Chris Greer, this is the guy we're going to put in the spot for them. That's kind of what I feel like happened, and I think that the fact that in that interview with Champ Kelly where he refused to admit who hired him, I think that was part of the deal, was that he was brought in as, well, you're going to be our just in case of emergency general manager because I have a feeling we're going to end up letting Chris Greer go. So I think that was an under the table thing done behind Chris Greer's back. That's just my personal opinion, though, not anything that I have evidence for.
But I feel like if that was the case, then he's going to be our GM next year. Like,
Oh wow. Wow. No.
you know what I mean?
I think
Like,
he's got a chance.
Why would you bring him in just for a just in case?
I think that was part of the agreement. Like I said, it's a thought right now. It's nothing else. But I do think that there's a good chance that Champ Kelly will end up being our next general manager. There's those other couple people that I have on my lists. Guys, I still have them right here, of just full of people that I thought would make good general managers. And I still have Alec Hallaby from the Eagles and Adam Berry from the Eagles as two high interest people. But there's a chance that we could be with Champ Kelly, which, hear me out here, I don't think is necessarily the worst thing in the world. I really don't. He is an ex-player, not in the NFL, but arena football. He's got a lot of experience outside of that. I don't think he would be the worst thing.
As long as you don't go along with the way the front office been operating, or should I say the way the last GM been operating. We need to go in a different direction.
I don't think he has a lot of connection with Chris Greer. We know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We can run a test on it right now, right? Because he was our acting GM the week before trade deadline. Chris Greer was already gone, and we were offered bogus trades for some very valuable pieces we have, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you think Chris Greer would have accepted those trades or not?
I think Chris would have done things differently. And honestly, while we're talking about it, I do think that Champ Kelly would have done things differently if he had more than 4 days before the trade deadline.
That's
Champ
fair.
Kelly literally had 4 days, and he still managed to create a little bit of space And I think it was a good trade. Like, I love Jalen Phillips, don't get me wrong, but I think that was a good trade.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, you're right, Kat. I mean, I do think we have no evidence, right? We can't say for sure, but I do think Chris Greer would have done different before the trade deadline than what we saw from Champ Kelly in that short amount of time, right? What do you think? What do you think, Paul?
Well, let me ask y'all: who brought in Juju Brent?
That was Chris Greer.
Champ Kelly? Oh, that was. Oh, okay, that was Greer. Okay.
Yeah, that was Chris Greer.
Uh,
But like I said, those decisions in the season this year,
mhm.
Champ Kelly had his hand in some of those decisions. We just don't know which ones.
Well, if he was involved in that Jalen Phillips one, that was a good one. That
Yeah.
was a good deal.
The
If I'm
Jalen
not
Phillips
mistaken, we got a
trade
third round
was,
pick, right?
yep,
Mhm.
that Jalen Phillips one was all Champ Kelly.
Yeah, because I was thinking that with Jalen Phillips being kind of injury prone and what have you, that we'll probably get a fourth or fifth round pick for him, actually. So when I heard third round pick, I said, okay, somebody willing and dealing.
Yeah. Yep. It's going to be interesting. We'll see what ends up happening here. But in the meantime, you guys, we have this game coming up, and what I wanted to do here was get a defensive key to victory and an offensive key to victory for the Dolphins against the Jets from each one of you guys. So, Mr. Palk, if you would do us the honors and give us your key to victory for offense and key to victory for defense in this Jets game, we'll go from there.
Okay, on the offense,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, continue with the running game. That A chain loose. Like I said, bring in Ollie Gordon on short yardage and also down in the red zone. Like I said, utilize Greg Dusey, please utilize him along with Jalen Waddle and what have you. On the defensive side, I like the way that our defensive backs have uh, stepped up, and I mean we are thin there. I like the way they have stepped up. What I want to see more on the defensive line is um, I want to see I want to see Zeke Biggers, Jordan Phillips, Kenny Grant. I want to see them more back there, giving the quarterbacks a hard time. So that's what I want to see on the defensive side and what have you, because we got these got good mid linebackers, which we haven't had in a long time. So that's what I want to see. Special teams, continue doing the good things that you're doing. Let's let's let's, let's get some round backs for a touchdown. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
All right. And I mean, you're spot on. And I'll add a couple things here before Kat does that I'm kind of thinking. I'll stay away from what Mr. Polk said, and I'll add some different stuff to this. Number one for offense, my big thing for offense is Tua has got to be clean. Tua has got to keep his gameplay clean in this game. The Jets have 0 interceptions for the season. They have not got an interception yet this year. This cannot be the game where the Jets get their first interception for the season. Tua has got to stay clean. And if you're looking over it on defense, that's even more important to me right now. And I'm gonna leave some of the other fruit for you guys, but the one thing that I'm really, really looking at here is I'm looking at our cornerbacks. Okay. They have been playing very well this year and much better these last like 4 or 5 games. I'm looking at Jack Jones and I'm looking at Jason Marshall Jr. I'm looking at uh, Ethan Bonner. I'm looking at these guys, Rasul Douglas, to have a very, very strong game on defense. If they can do that, it's going to make the defensive line have much better effort. They're going to have a much better game because of it. Those are the two things that I'm really looking at in this game. Tua having a clean game and our cornerbacks locking down this Jets offense and forcing them to run the ball. Kat, what do you got, man?
Well, it's going to be a cold weather game, right?
Yep.
I think the key to victory this one belongs with Mike McDaniel, and it's going to be his persistence to not waver from his script, his game plan, his persistence to control this clock, and not put it in a situation where you have to put the ball in the hands of Tua Tagovailoa. Because, like you said, we cannot allow the Jets to get their second interception or their third interception or whatever it is. So I'm putting the key to victory on Mike McDaniel here. He's got to coach a great game. He's got to coach this game flawless from start to finish.
It's a good one.
And then on defense, we got to make sure Breece Hall doesn't have a good game. We got to contain Breece Hall in that run game, and the rest of it should fall in place.
That's a good point. Yep. Okay. So here we are. We got this game tomorrow. I want you guys' score predictions. Each of you. Kat, can you give your score prediction first, or do you need a minute?
I mean, you guys aren't gonna like me very much. You guys are not gonna like me very much, but it's actually gonna be something like 17-10 Jets for the win.
Ooh.
Sorry. I just think it's going to be an ugly game. Unfortunately, we haven't been playing well. But in the heart of a Dolphin fan, like the Dolphin fan in me says that it's going to be 24-14 Miami Dolphins. The realistic part of me says 17-10 New York Jets.
Okay, so you got Tua's first loss to the Jets coming up this Sunday.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to sweep the Jets. I'm sorry. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Fair. No, it's a fair enough prediction. It's not even that inaccurate. Mr. Paul, what do you got?
Actually, I have us winning 14-21. 14-21, but which Miami Dolphins is going to show up?
Mm-hmm.
The one that played the Buffalo Bills or the one that barely beat the Saints?
Right. It's a good question. So for this game, I've been thinking about this for a few days, and my prediction has changed over these last few days. And right now, I do think Miami is going to pull this win out and continue their win streak. I do not think this is going to be a massive blowout win. I'm taking Miami 27 and the Jets 21. 27-21 Miami. I do think that the Jets get their first interception in this game.
I could agree with that too.
I do see that happening. So
do you think they got like a bet going on in the cornerback room, like who gets the pick? Like who gets it?
Probably. I mean, realistically, they've gone this long into the season without an interception. So I would imagine there's quite a reward on the table in the form of cash for the first player to get a pick for the Jets. We'll see what ends up happening, but I do think that Tua throws the first pick to the Jets this year.
Exactly.
I just hope that it's not going to be enough to lose us the game. That's where I'm at with it. But guys, I do want to say thank you very much for both of you being in here and hanging out with me, Mr. Paul, Cat in the Hat. So it's an honor to have you here. Thanks for hanging out with me and talking, and everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. All the comments. If there's always a great conversation going on in the chat during my streams, and I love it. So thank you so much for you guys being here. Everybody, please make sure to throw a like down. Share my channel with some people that you know. Living here in North Pole, Alaska, I don't have a lot of Dolphins fans around this area. So when you guys share my channel, it helps out a bunch. Any final words from each of you guys on this before we get out of here for the day?
I do.
Go
Guess
for
how
it.
many dollars I got from the Tooth Fairy?
Excellent.
That was my son.
That's awesome.
That's cool. That is cool.
All right, guys. Fins up for life. I'll catch you on the next one. I appreciate you having me up here, Frozen. I love talking football whenever I get a chance. So the ability to be able to come up and do this on other people's channels is awesome. Getting other perspectives and other views on things so that you learn and understand situations better. It's just an awesome experience.
Anytime. Mr. Palk, anything before we get out of here?
Yes, and thanks for letting me come up on your panel. And listen, everybody down in the chat room, hit the like button, subscribe, and support Frozen Fan. And listen, we let's go get that W tomorrow. Depending
right.
on which Dolphins show up. Thanks
All
again,
right.
Frozen
Fins
Fan
up. Make
Cat.
me wrong, Dolphins. Make me wrong. Let's get the dub.
And Cat,
Thanks,
I'll see
guys.
you on another platform.
Peace.
Podcast. Peace.
Appreciate it, guys. Fins up. Remember, stay hopeful if you can. I know it's hard, but we're getting good at it. Fins up, guys. Take it easy.